this situation was not a choice for us. We had to roll with the punches, we had to adjust, and we had to do the best that we can. And when I say we, I mean my wife and I. And it's definitely been a team effort. Last week, a week from today, on Sunday, we had all of our material that we had received 2 days prior. So we had to get this going pretty quickly. Welcome everybody. This is the Dad's Thing. I'm James. I appreciate you checking into the channel. This episode is just going to be a continuation of last week where I talked about becoming a homeschooling parent within 2 days. Today we have our in-home guest and my wife, Charisma Simmons, who has been a blessing to me, to our kids, and just to this whole process. Like I said last week, this is definitely a team effort. It takes both of us to get things going, working our strengths. My wife is a planner. She prepares great lesson plans based off of what the girls have, and then I try to execute those plans as best as possible and have some additions such as, going outside and doing the extracurricular activities and things of that nature. But just want to welcome you to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, babe. And hello to everyone that's watching us right now.
Yeah. So how's it been going for you this last 2 weeks of being a homeschooling parent?
It's been great. It's been a learning experience. Yeah. I'm glad to be learning it with you. The first week was a little challenging, learning, finding out that they have to be home, organizing everything. And the first thing I told you, the first day I stayed home, is how did you do it? Because I can't even imagine homeschooling and working from home. It's just really difficult. With the girls' schoolwork, there was just a lot of instructions, reading, giving directions, and to kind of manage that in between conference calls and meetings and emails, I find it really difficult.
Yeah. Well, I told everybody last week what made it a little easier for me to be able to do that is just, you really prepared the work the Sunday before we got into our first week, labeled everything for me. So it was really, really simple to follow the game plan that you had laid out and me execute it with the girls. And then once you came home, that allowed me to do a little bit more of my work. So lucky to be flexible in that regards. And also with your work, your work gave you an abbreviated schedule. So you were able to come home, around 1:30, which still gave me a lot of the day to be able to do stuff. So that was really helpful in this whole process. So, week one, as I mentioned, to the audience, that was kind of, how we got into it, not really knowing which way was up, which way was down, or what this whole thing was going to entail. But we found some things that helped us. And one of the things we decided, or we found that worked really good, was, about 2 to 3 hours of schoolwork per day.
That's right.
That was a good amount for the girls. What would you say about the amount of time we did some academic work?
Okay. So I am lucky to be at home this whole week during the second week of homeschooling, and I was really on top of the school work with the girls. I'm right there ready to read or give them instructions. The really important thing that I learned is you have to know your kids' learning styles. So for my two girls, they're very different. So with Tiffany, you can give her 3 pages of schoolwork and she'll sit down and do it, and then she'll do her reading afterwards. For Lauren, because she has just started reading, so she needs a little bit of variety. So we would have to do some schoolwork, and then we'll read for a couple of minutes, like a few pages, and then we go back to schoolwork and kind of like do that routine of schoolwork, reading. but everything is accomplished before lunch, so about 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
This week we did have a late start.
Yeah.
We have been slipping in, which is okay, because it's mommy's homeschool, so we're allowed to sleep in, but we get things done, and there's a lot of multitasking on my part as well. So Lauren could be reading or doing her schoolwork, and I'm checking Tiffany's first page of work just to make sure that, everything's correct, and then have her correct it. But everything's done by lunchtime.
Right.
And then after lunch, our PE instructor takes over.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was pretty much my role this week, was really more on supportive end. Again, it was great to have you home because I had more things I had to get done earlier, as far as my work was concerned. So to be able to come in, in the afternoon, take the girls out for walks.
Yes.
We, rediscovered our neighborhood, ride our bikes. Mommy even did some yoga classes
We did
this
some
week.
yoga, yes.
We did our Zumba stuff, but that really was a good recipe for us this week. I kind of jokingly, talked about, mommy and pajama time or pajama day last week, and I had them in their uniform. We really learned that just a variety and just kind of like loosening it up a little bit is really going to be a key to get us through these times. Again, we are homeschooling, but it's homeschooling in a different type of way because we're required to be home. We're in shelter in place, so it's not the traditional like you can just get out and do what you need to do. So we've loosened it up. Well, I'll say I've loosened it up a little bit, and it's been good.
We've given it a variety.
Yeah, given it a variety. And
a
it's been
different
good.
activity each day. Girls can be, like you said, yoga, Zumba. They're painting.
Right.
One day with gospel music or what have you. We've baked. So just a couple of little extra stuff we've added on to.
Well, we've definitely brought back home economics. I know some of you might know what home ec is, but Tiffany and Lauren, they're learning how to wash dishes.
Yes.
They've always been baking with mom, so that's been good. But they're doing some different things, learning some life skills. And I would say that that's really important during this time that we have together, is to really teach the kids, life skills, whether it's washing the dishes, really getting into a routine of, making your beds and things like that. And we're talking about a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So they're to that age where, they should be picking up and doing those things. But we really want to emphasize those things and make sure that they understand what that means. And as far as we continuing to go and continuing to learn new things, we did get an update from our school Friday afternoon that we are anticipating, or not anticipating, but it's firm that we will not be going back to school until after May. So we have all of April to be able to be home to do this. So that's caused our thought process to change a little bit as well, because now they're going to be home a little bit more. Tiffany started a little more online learning with Zoom meetings with her friends.
That is correct. With gadgets that could help us with this, online transition while we're homeschooling.
Right. So, those are the big things that we've had. We've stuck to kind of a 2 to 3 hour routine. We've invested a little bit more in, our extracurricular activities and, like I said, home ec, teaching the girls things around the house that are going to be helpful for them. And just kind of finding our rhythm and letting the girls help dictate that. That's really important for them to be comfortable as well. Again, the situation is a little different. We're not able to get out as much as we'd like to. So, you get a little bit of that cabin fever, so we want to really listen to them to see how they're doing and how they're coming along with their learning environment. And so far, so good. We've had a couple of virtual field trips. We went to Seattle Aquarium.
We did.
On Thursday, we did that. And, I kind of half jokingly said, thank God we went on our virtual trip on Thursday, because we slept in and had a
Friday.
late start on Friday because we were
It's
so
okay to sleep
exhausted.
in. We're allowed to sleep in. But also in addition to that, and this is something that we do even before the shelter in place, is we set the expectations for the girls. I think more so now.
And yeah, like you said, so we're all on the same page. So it's a group effort. Homeschooling, party of four is what we call it. And so far, so good. We have, several more weeks to come. We're excited, and we're still trying to find ways that the girls can still be with their friends, so they can not miss all of that. So we just want to thank you for joining us on our second episode. Thank you for sharing
Of course.
how things are
Thank you,
going
babe.
with our homeschooling journey. And we will see you next week with an update on...
You will see them next week.
Yeah,
Not we.
I'll see you next week with an
Not we.
update on how spring break
Yes.
went. So next week is spring break, so
Yes.
there's going to be a whole lot of different stuff going on.
Whole new ball game.
Whole
for
new ball
you.
game. I've got a glamping trip for the girls. So
Yeah.
we're going to go glamping probably Thursday through next week, Saturday.
Yeah.
So looking forward to sharing that with you. In the meantime, please press the like, subscribe. Love to hear some comments, and we'll get back to you with the answers to those questions if you have them. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.